Hello everyone, Ultra Squad here, and welcome back to our newest guide. Today we'll be talking about the Arch-Glacor boss, gear and inventory recommendations, boss mechanics, and how to deal with them. Before we begin the battle, let's jump into equipment and inventory recommendations. As a ranger, you should bring Serenic armor, Elite is optional, Cinderbeam gloves, Fleeting boots, an Essence of Finality with your choice of special attack, a Ring of Death, enchanted ruby bolts, Ascension crossbows or blatebounds or an ECB, a godbook, and your best cape. You should also have a high tier shield, I don't recommend a defender here, vulnerability bombs, overloads, a flask of spiritual prayer potion, and several Saradomin brews along with food. You should bring a Ripper Demon as your familiar. Some optional equipment recommended for 200 plus in rage would be switches for roaming with greater ricochet, planted feet, a ring of vigor, a rune pouch for disruption shield, vengeance and smoke cloud being optional, enhanced Excalibur, and a main hand sword for bladed dive, a Saren Godbow, which can be in an EOF, mechanized Chinchampas, a power burst of vitality for emergencies, an adrenaline potion, and some Hydrix bolts to help you build adrenaline when you need it. Alternatively, you can use mage or melee. As for auras, you'll want to use either Majorat or Dark Magic. For a familiar, if you're experienced, you should use a Ripper Demon. Otherwise, you can use a Yak or a Mammoth if you want some extra insurance. The Arch-Glacor does not have phases. Rather, its HP will increase based on enrage, up to 750,000 at 500%. The Arch-Glacor will mainly attack with magic. The damage, like everything else in the fight, will increase with enrage, up to around 3,000 at 500% if you don't use protection prayers. The attack speed is pretty slow though, so you can use Soul Split to heal between attacks. For his mechanics, these happen at fixed times, but the mechanic is randomly chosen each time and can repeat the same one multiple times. Because of this, it's necessary to have a backup plan in case your first choice to handle mechanic is on cooldown. Several mechanics summon ice, which comes from the sides and will block off much of the platform, forcing you into a specific area. If you're hit by the ice, you'll be knocked back, so it's best to avoid it. The Arch-Glacor will summon 4 Glacytes in a square, 2 mages close to the player, and 2 melees that will spawn behind them. These have 13,500 hit points each at 500% in rage, and must be killed as the Arch-Glacor cannot be attacked while they are alive. At 250% in rage and higher, a bolstered Glacyte will also spawn close to the player and attack with melee. This has twice as much health, and must also be killed. The Glacytes do not hit very hard, but tanking all 5 will wear down your HP. It's best to stay still once they spawn, as the melee Glacytes will be trapped behind the magic ones. Use your mechanized Chinchampas on the group of 4, using one bind ability to lock them in place, then quickly kill them with a strong threshold like Snapshot. Then, re-equip your main weapon and kill the bolstered Glacyte if it's there. After these minions are summoned, there will be 5 auto attacks from the Arch-Glacor before the next mechanic. The Arch-Glacor will do 8 powerful attacks, which can be in any combat style, indicated by the message, the Arch-Glacor focuses its attacks. These attacks can hit up to 6,000 at 500% if you do not pray correctly. But if you do pray correctly, the damage is reduced to below 1,800. At the same time, ice will spawn from both sides of the arena, keeping you near the middle. You should respond to the animation before each attack with a correct prayer. For melee, it drags an arm along the ground. For magic, it raises an arm high to the side. For ranged, it raises an arm in front with green mist. This attack hits slightly before the animation finishes, so you must react quickly once it starts. You can use Resonance to get a large heal off one of these attacks, and Debilitate will help prevent damage. After 6 of the 8 attacks, the next mechanic will begin. Be aware of the last 2 attacks as you prepare for the next mechanic. Ice will spawn from the left if you're facing the boss, and push you all the way to the right edge, where you may be out of range to attack for a while. Then, an Ice Pillar will spawn somewhere in that area. This moves slowly towards you, and if it hits you, you will receive very high damage, around 3,000 or more per tick, and drain some prayer points and adrenaline. After a few seconds, the ice will recede, but 2 more ice pillars will spawn, one in the middle and one on the left side of the arena. A few seconds later, these pillars will despawn and 1 more pillar will appear briefly in the middle as the next mechanic begins. There are 2 ways to deal with this. The safe option is just to surge past the first pillar, run to the corner, equip your shield, and use Barricade just before it reaches you. To do this, you should start building adrenaline quickly as soon as the ice spawns from the left. Consider an adrenaline potion Hydrix bolts. Then you can draw all 3 pillars towards you while you have barricade up, and then you can use surge to the left, and you should be safe. The last pillar can be avoided by simply walking past it. The risky way to do this is just to try and avoid the pillars. If you surge past the first pillar at the last moment, then surge away to the left once the ice disappears, you can get away from it, and then you can use bladed dive to the left just before the pillar on that side catches you. If done correctly, this helps make for fast kills since you save adrenaline, but it is not recommended while on streak unless barricade is not available, as one mistake can lead to a swift death. Ice will appear, with the safe area usually on the left, but sometimes in the middle or slightly to the right. The Arch-Glacor will transform into a giant cannon and launch a powerful magic beam. This will hit rapidly 3 times for very high magic damage, and also stun. For your main strategy, you want to use Devotion with Protect Magic Prayer, and either Anticipate or Freedom to prevent the stun. This is by far the best way to deal with this mechanic. If you're unlucky, Arch-Glacor may do this mechanic while your Devotion is on cooldown. In that case, eat to full, and use Reflect and Protect Magic with some combination of Resonance, Disruption Shield, or Power Burst of Vitality, depending on what's available. After 3 more standard magic attacks, the next mechanic will start. Ice will spawn from both sides, pushing you to the center. Then, the Arch-Glacor will drop onto the platform, with its arms on either side of you and the core in the middle. The core will deal constant magic damage, although this damage starts at nothing, and apply a debuff, which increases the damage you take for each stack. You cannot attack the boss itself during this time. You need to break one of the arms and run out that side to escape the chill of the core. Each arm has 32,500 hit points at 500% in rage, but you only need to break one. Use Soul Split at first, and deal damage as quickly as possible. If you take too long, you may need to pray Protect Mage, and eventually the damage will surely kill you if you don't escape. Once you have broken an arm, surge out that side and get back to killing the boss. After you escape, the boss will return to normal and do 2 more magic attacks before the next mechanic begins. Thank you for watching. If you found our guide useful, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click that like button. See you next time.